Good afternoon, all. Camelback Trading 2724 coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, June 10th. And we're looking at the last 4 days of the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. And I have that up for a reason because, yes, we had the Fed today. Yes, the market went all over the place, but basically in the day's range. We took out the high in J, couldn't make a new high in K. We pushed up, we pushed down. We ended up with a perfect POC in the SPY. Haven't had that in a while. They're rare. Buyers and sellers very happy to do business there, and especially on a Fed day. Trying to push lower here, as you can see, after hours. But the bottom line is this. We are in a 4-day balance in the daily. And until we come out of that, that's a market waiting for more market-generated information. Even with the Fed today, we're at 87 million. So at the after hours, we're going to be lucky to do our average. I did not take a trade after G period, and I was very happy not taking that. 4 time frames out of my trading life on a Fed day, if I don't feel right to take a trade, is fine with me. I trade for 30-something years. I don't care about 2 time frames. Had an excellent morning. The room had a very good day. There was a very good feel in the room with the trading this morning, as opposed to other days where they've been kind of tough to call. This morning, up until the Fed, was a very, very, I'll never say easy because trading is never easy, but it was a much better day able to read the market and make good trades. As far as those trades go, so in A period, and now I'll just put it on today. So we opened. We attempted to get up to yesterday's high. I said if we got up to I or M's high, I would like to take a short. Didn't get up high enough for me. And it rolled over, came below the opening, and started trading down. Didn't get on board until, and I'm looking at my notes because, again, after the day, I forgot a lot. I took a long in A period when we traded to the afternoon pullback low, which was F's low, and at the time, again, I'm in 4 or 5 tick increments and value low from yesterday because this thing gets all screwed up when you put it in 4s and 5s. It held, went back up, and it was a nice trade to start the day. B period, opened, traded up, had poor structure, got on board with a short because I thought that structure would get repaired. That's exactly what it did. We've had a habit. This market has had a habit. The sellers have been so weak now the last 2.5 months. It's totally reversed from February, March, where every time you made a new low in B, you got to get on board because they ripped lower. Well, it's been the opposite now. And if you've taken those shorts, yes, you could make something initially, but there's been no energy, no continuation, no acceleration to the downside. So I took that short trade based on the poor structure more than us taking out A's low. Then in C period, we had single prints to start, but C could not take out B's low. So I took a long, went back up, still held the singles, got out of it though, and then C came back down again, took out B's low, came back into it. Again, the sellers were weak, got on board again. Yes, value was overlapping to lower all day, but I was more than comfortable on a Fed day. Remember, I've said this, you've heard this, and never has a trend day held prior to 2 p.m. on a Fed day, as far as I know, as in all my trading, especially using the market profile. And I didn't expect it again, so when C came back into B, got long again, and we filled the single print. So 2 long plays actually in C period, that worked out. D period open, shot down again and left horrendous structure on the upside, took that long and went up and filled the poor structure. And what I mean by poor structure is you'll have price points in the SPY, because we trade every penny, that they don't trade at. They rarely, if ever, hold. And sometimes they'll go 10, there'll be 3 or 4 of them. They'll be 20, 30 cents lower, and the odds of getting them are good. So that's why I call them a structure play. E period, I took a long. It looked like we were going to stop the one-time framing down. Actually, we did stop the one-time framing down. I apologize. I didn't buy it then. It came back in. And now you can tell the market with each push lower, even though we kept going back and forth through yesterday's range, it wasn't holding. So I got on board in each time frame looking to go back to POC. And I did that in E. I did that in F, and they both worked out very nice on the long side. And then G period, when it couldn't take out F, now I'm like, I didn't expect an afternoon rally high on a day like today. I knew the Fed was speaking, but up until 2 o'clock, I figured the market just got too short here. We popped and would probably roll back over a little bit. So when G couldn't take out F's high, I got short and rode it back to POC. So I did about 8 trades. And let me tell you, not one of them, the biggest lot I had was, I think, 45 contracts. That was the biggest. I had 10, 20s. I added when they went up. I took them off, added when they came back, whichever way. But the most I ever had was 45. And I had a very, very good day with zero stress today. Because every trade I took basically went the way I thought it would as soon as I took it. So it was an excellent trading day. And for the room as a whole, you got to come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. We actually had a chance for an outside day up, right? We had taken out the day's low, then we took out the day's high, but that didn't happen. And then when we started coming down in M, actually, hold on a second. I apologize. We do have one. We have an outside day down. Didn't realize that. I'm glad I caught that as I'm speaking right now. So the fact that we took out yesterday's high, now it's only by 2 ticks, but we have to go by what it is. We took out yesterday's high and closed below yesterday's low. Did not realize that. So that's an outside day down. That is not positive. We'll see what it means because sellers have been very weak. Remember, if we take out today's low, the next destination is going to be down here at the 317 level. And then you got that huge gap. Not going to be easy to fill the first time. Unless maybe what they heard today from Powell, which was more than everybody expected. So I don't understand why we did all this. It was clear as day, basically expected. Yes, they said they're not going to raise rates through 2022. But if anything, that's a positive. So, I don't know what they were expecting more to get this market higher. But we'll see. But yes, we do have an outside day down, which is negative. And I do think the NASDAQ is extremely stretched out. And I'll show you that on the charts too, because I think it's important. All right, let's go over destinations for tomorrow. So the first one on the upside will be our perfect POC of 319.95. Now, the last time we had a perfect POC, you would think the odds of visiting it the next day or very, very in the near future is good. But believe it or not, last time we had one, I think it was back in the fall, and we never saw it again. We opened, we went above it. We never saw it. We went to all-time highs, and then we didn't get it, believe it or not, until that flush out in February and March. But usually, buyers and sellers so happy. Now, can it happen the opposite, where we go down and never see it to the upside? Possibly. But we have to come out of balance first, that's for sure. But that's my first destination on the upside. Then today's high of 322.39, and then the daily high of 323.41. For the downside, we don't have anything till today's low of 318.22. And then nothing to 317.16, and then filling that gap down at 313. So again, price voids and vacuums really to both sides. It'll be interesting. All right, let's go to the charts. Sorry, this is a little longer, but pretty important stuff we're talking about here. So just quickly on the monthly, one time framing up, extremely healthy. The monthly and weekly right now are extremely healthy. It would be even healthy if they, just pull back a little bit too, but very healthy. Next destination is the all-time high right now on the monthly. Weekly, one time framing up 3 weeks, 2 days to go in the week. It would make 4 weeks. Again, I'm not surprised. We're going to have a little trouble getting to this next week because that's the huge gap from our all-time high. You don't realize that, but we made our all-time high, and then the following week, gap lower. Huge gap. And then on the daily, plain and simple, 4-day balance. Whichever way we come out of it, if we come out of to the upside, we might finally get to attack that weekly high up here. If we come out of it to the downside, again, this gap is not going to be easy to fill the first time. But we'll see. That's obviously the Bears' goal going forward. But right now in a 4-day, but we've seen this game before, by the way. Look at this. Talk about almost a carbon copy. Gapped higher, huge gap. They tried to push it down, went up, tried to push it down 2 days in a row, and then what happened? Gapped higher again. Well, kind of the same scenario here, or here even. Gapped higher, tried to push it down, gap holds, huge gap, and now we've done the same thing again. 2 days in a row, we've taken out the previous day's lows. Are the Bears finally going to show up? They didn't show up here. They didn't show up here. They didn't show up here. Here. Will they show up here and finally try to get a push down? The daily definitely needs it. This structure, this is crap structure that I'm showing you here. All these gaps and mindless machines taking it up. It would be healthy to flush out, come into a nice balance again, fill some of these gaps. I don't care if both of these gaps get filled. Maybe get a big balance between this balance and this one. A nice balance, trade sideways for a while. I think that would be the healthiest thing to do before going to attack that gap and get the all-time high. That's just how I see it. Now, I know it's a little longer, but I want to show you something in the triple Qs, which obviously is the ETF for the NASDAQ. So the monthly, right, just blowing through highs. There you go. Came out of an inside month, by the way, like the SPY, all-time highs. Here's the one that's fascinating to me, the weekly. Now, the SPY has had a couple of balances in the weekly. Look at the weekly, though, in this. We had an outside week up after the low back in March. We've one time framed up either 9 or 10 out of 12 weeks. And the other 2 weeks that we didn't one time frame up, outside week up. And where's the other one I saw? There was another one I thought was an outside week up also. Was it this one? It might have been this one. 211.21. Yep. I mean, this one barely took out the previous week's low, but we closed above it, just like today's outside day down. You got to take it into account. This is an incredible run where the only time we've taken out the previous week's lows, we've only to finish above that previous week's high. We are getting stretched out in the NASDAQ. And the reason I'm saying this, the reason this is so important is because the question, and I've been posing this to my trading room and everything, are we going to attempt in the SPY, and now we're back on the SPY, are we going to attempt in the SPY to go to our all-time high while NASDAQ is still up there? Well, if we do, and NASDAQ stays up there, then it's going to be horrendous structure on the daily, at least in the SPY, and the NASDAQ's really going to be stretched out. The healthier alternative is to pull back in the SPY, get some real nice consolidation, for NASDAQ to pull back, get some consolidation, and then continue this move upwards. So if we think, we're going to have to say, there's going to be a disconnect again between the ES and NASDAQ at some point. There has to be. It's the only way we're going to either catch up to them to the upside or they're going to come back down to us. This isn't going to work the way it's going. Somebody's going to be very, very wrong. So it's, we'll see which one. But either the buyers or sellers are going to be very wrong in the ES as far as catching up to NASDAQ or NASDAQ gets back to us. 2 days to go to our webinar. Come check us out. Sign up. Go check out the video. It's only $20. I think you'd get a wealth of knowledge and information on the market overall. I hope you had a great day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.